So I'm Jim Cashel. I'm with Sharon Levine, the Associate Executive Director of the Permanente Group. And Sharon, you just chaired a panel talking about physicians in reform. What were some of the sort of key points, either from the panel or around this topic, of physicians and their sort of involvement in the reform debate?
Several things. The first, I think, and this was made very eloquently by Dr. Slavin, was the issue that the demographics of the physician workforce is changing, actually has changed. In California, 60% of the physicians in California now are women. And with the change in demographics comes a change in expectations. Physicians are coming out of medical school and residency training much more exposed to and interested in a team-based practice. Physicians, as Dr. Slavin said, work to live. They don't live to work, which just wasn't true when I trained 35 years ago. And so we see a physician workforce for whom autonomy and total control is in fact less of an urgent issue for them. And I think, in fact, whether or not we planned it, we are training the physician workforce we need for the future. We're also seeing a much more diverse workforce in terms of socioeconomic status, in terms of birth family, and ethnic diversity as well. And so we're slowly moving our way towards the workforce that we need. And I think, in addition, particularly for these new trainees, money is less of an issue. And I think expectations of great wealth from the practice of medicine are much less than they were in the 70s and 80s, immediately post-Medicare. So those are the good things. I think the challenges and some of the things that I think we absolutely need from reform is that for many reasons, some of which are self-inflicted, the burnish and the respect for the profession has in fact diminished over the last decade or decade and a half. And some of that, as I said, is self-inflicted. The degree to which conflicts of interest have invaded and commerce has invaded what consumers believe is still a sacred relationship between a healer and a patient, not a vendor and a consumer. I think the profession has to take responsibility for and address. And that, in fact, is the second theme, I think, of the panel, which is everyone on that panel, academic, large group, medium-sized group IPA leaders, the word that came out of their mouths is accountability. And I think what physicians need to bring to the table in reform is clear commitment to taking greater accountability for both the quality and cost of healthcare. This notion of stewardship, we have the tradition in the U.S. for the last 50 years is that physicians take responsibility for quality, and by the way, each of us defines quality as what we do, to a model that says not only are we responsible for the quality of care our patients get, but that we acknowledge that the price that they pay has a lot to do with value, and that we step up to the plate and say we will take accountability both for quality and the cost of care. Because every dollar we expend when we write a prescription or order a test or admit someone to a hospital is we're spending someone else's money. And we have an obligation as a profession to do that with excruciating concern around the impact it's having on the financial health of our patients and of the communities and families from which they come. So I think accountability, profession, and the specialties have to come up with meaningful commitments around accountability. And in return, I think we have to earn and the respect and burnish the notion of professionalism so that people continue to feel pride in having made that choice to become a physician. And one of the things I had meant to ask the panelists but ran out of time was, would any of you have done it, would any of you do anything different if you were choosing today? And I know the answer is no. And I think that's something that we need to ensure that young people today who are looking at career choices understand that there is no more privileged enterprise
Mhm.
in the practice of medicine.
Okay, well, Dr. Levine, thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.